If you're watching this, you weren't imagining things. You didn't misunderstand them. You didn't overreact. And you weren't too much. Something was happening. It just never had a name. Today, we're not talking about one moment or one behavior. We're naming the pattern that made everything feel unclear. This experience is painfully common. Many people go through closeness that doesn't stay, silence that arrives without explanation, connection that never becomes commitment, and most people blame themselves. Because when behavior doesn't make sense, the mind looks inward. But confusion is not a personal flaw. It's often the result of an emotional system designed to keep you uncertain. Let's start with the foundation. Attachment isn't about love, it's about regulation. Some people regulate through closeness, others regulate through distance. When someone moves toward you emotionally and then pulls back, it's not random, it's their nervous system switching modes. Closeness activates vulnerability, distance restores control. So the relationship never settles, it oscillates. And you're left trying to adapt to a rhythm that keeps changing. Instability can feel like chemistry. Here's the deeper layer. The most powerful bonds are not built on consistency, they're built on unpredictability. When warmth appears, then disappears. Your brain doesn't relax. It watches, it waits. It remembers the good moments and tries to earn them back. This is intermittent reinforcement, the same mechanism behind addiction. Not because the connection was strong, but because it was inconsistent. Your confusion was doing the bonding. Now the pieces connect. Closeness creates hope. Silence creates anxiety. Lack of commitment creates suspension. Together, they form control. Not always intentional, but always impactful. Because when someone controls access to emotional safety, they control your attention. You start adjusting your behavior, your needs, your expectations, not to manipulate them, but to keep the connection alive. You weren't staying for love, you were staying for relief. Here's the shift. This wasn't chaos, it was a pattern, a system where closeness, silence, and non-commitment worked together, not to build a future, but to maintain emotional leverage. Understanding this doesn't erase the pain, but it restores something critical, context, and context gives your experience dignity. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Not because it explains everything, but because it explains why nothing ever felt stable. The behavior, the silence, the waiting, they weren't separate events. They were one emotional design. And now that it has a name, your confusion finally has a shape.